IGO started in 1967 on the south coast of England in a place called Southsea, just outside Portsmouth. And it was a group of 7 men that started this. Kathy's dad, Bob Searle, was one of them.
Because there they crucified him, who is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
David Greeno.
That we should be alive unto God. What a tremendous experience and expression that is.
And 5 others, and they came together and started this wonderful organization. The motto of IGO is recognizing the whole church, reaching out to the whole world. That's been very important for us all through this 50 years. It was always that. They came out with that at the beginning. It was very important to them. In fact, Anne was the one that realized that IGO, she named it IGO, International Gospel Outreach, because it says IGO. I felt that God was shifting us as IGO then from the first part of the motto to the second part. David was very much an apostle of the church, recognizing the whole church. Whereas my ministry is much more traveling, and so I travel to many countries of the world, and I felt God was moving IGO towards reaching out to the whole world. IGO is made up of ministers, Christian workers from all over the world, but it changed over the years since I took over as president. We have now perhaps 50% of our membership who are in another nation, indigenous people born in another nation. IGO has never advertised itself. And so we never aim to be a large organization, never aim to be a denomination. We would say we're not a denomination, just a group of ministers who encourage one another. It's because we've never advertised, it's spread by people who recommend somebody else. So when we get an application from somebody, a minister or somebody to join IGO, it's always somebody who's been recommended by somebody else. But if you're watching this and you want to get involved, then go to our website, www.igo.org.uk, and you can download a form from there, fill it in, you can send it back to us at the Oasis or email it back to us. And what happens when people apply for a membership of IGO, the trustees come together, we look at those and we assess their references, and then they become a member and we fellowship together and we try to encourage one another. IGO recognizes ministers and Christian workers. We have different levels of people who come into IGO. It started off really ministers, but a lot of people are Christian workers who maybe work in a prison. They're not an ordained person, they don't need to be ordained, or they work as a chaplain in some other industry. And so IGO is quite unique that way, where we recognize different ministries. Everybody in IGO has a ministry. Everybody not at IGO in some other organization or denomination or grouping also has a ministry. But everyone in IGO has a ministry. We recognize that, whether it's prayer, whether it's as a pastor, whether it's an evangelist, we recognize all ministries. The Oasis was given to us 1995-1996 at the launch of the Joshua Project. And it was a real blessing to us. Up until that, the headquarters of IGO moved around with Bob and Anne Searle, often being run from their garage. But we were given this fantastic building that used to be a hotel. And I remember standing in it on the day when we felt that we wanted to get this place. The water was coming in through the 72 broken windows. And God spoke to us and said that as we restored this building, He was going to restore His church. And so it's been the headquarters of IGO since then. The Oasis, as the headquarters of IGO, is where all the administration is done from. So Anne and Stella and Hazel in the office there, and John Levy, who's based there, they run the organization from that place. Memberships and everything that goes along with that. It's also a local fellowship. The Oasis Christian Fellowship meets there, and people come and stay there periodically. So a place where people can go, ministers particularly who need a break, who maybe need just a rest, and they go and they can spend time to refresh themselves there. There's great accommodation with caravans and a cottage and a bungalow on the grounds. And of course, it's based in Penmanmawr, just outside Penmanmawr in Dugavulki, and it's facing the sea, and it's the most incredible view. You can almost see to Ireland from the Oasis Christian Centre. So what could be better than that? Our main conference each year is in September or October in Swanwick in the Hayes Christian Centre. And it's a fantastic event. It's really the flagship event for international gospel outreach, and we encourage our ministers to come to that, as many as can. Every year we sometimes have an invited speaker, but not always. We involve our own people, and that's always a time when we meet with God. A few years ago, I started another conference, an international weekend that ran first of all in Northallerton, moved with me to Norwich, back to Northallerton again, and that has been highlighting the missionary aspect of international gospel outreach. We have another conference in the UK every year that happens down in Cornwall in May or June at the half term. We have a special holiday conference, and that's run in Redruth in Cornwall. That's been a real blessing. It's much more a holiday conference, so we go out during the day, meetings then in the evening. That's been a real blessing over the last few years. That lasts for Tuesday till Friday, just a midweek conference. And there are also overseas conferences. We've had them in different parts of the world, in Ghana, the Ivory Coast, Ethiopia, Guatemala, and that's been a wonderful blessing as well. Overseas, we set a fee for people to pay. It's greatly reduced from the fee here in the UK. We try to charge £10 and translate that into local money, and that stays in the country. We don't actually take that money, but on practice, we don't make it a reason for people joining or not joining. We found that there are a lot of people who struggle, particularly overseas, and so we'd rather have them as members. So I've brought down the income of IGO greatly over the last number of years by so many that have applied from abroad, and Anne loves me to do that. If you come across us through the internet, write to us, let us know about yourself, what you're doing, and perhaps we can join together in some way. If anyone wants to join International Gospel Outreach, usually they'll have been recommended by a friend, or they're watching this video, they found out of us over the internet by some means. They can download a form from www.igo.org.uk. They can download the form there, fill it in, send it to the email address, or post it to the headquarters at the Oasis in North Wales. And we go through an application procedure where people, they need to apply as a minister or as a Christian worker and supply a reference, their testimony, and then as trustees we go through each of them and then make a recommendation for them to join. And we pray with them, usually at the conference in Swanwick. Occasionally for overseas people, we've gone to their church, and some people in the UK who maybe are joining us or becoming ordained through IGO, they prefer to have their own people there, and so we've gone, a couple of us as trustees, to their church and performed the ceremony of the ordination ceremony there in their church, and those times have been very special. Well, of course, this is our celebration of 50 years. So plans for the next 50 years. We don't actually have plans for the next 50 years because we might not be here. We've changed over the years. We've become, we have a Facebook page for IGO. We're doing more over the internet. And that's all things that will develop as time goes on. But we really feel that God is bringing some key people together at this moment of history, and that there's a wind about to blow. So I would say the mood through IGO at the moment, at this key time, 50 years looking ahead, is that something's about to happen. There's a move of God happening around the world, and He has brought some amazing people to us from different countries all around the globe. And so we really feel that God's going to do something really special over these next few years. So watch this space.